Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are sharing with you what rooms to avoid on Amtrak.
We've ridden in every Amtrak room type, and we're here to tell you which ones to try and which ones to avoid. I think we've probably ridden in every single room number of the rooms, so some are better than others. But this first one we're going to talk about is one that can be good for some people, but if you're not in the certain category of people, you probably don't want to book this one, and that's the family bedroom.
Yes, and you know, I've noticed a few times that we've been on the train that people have booked that room like either a single or just like a couple or something. And it's not really what you think it's going to be, because I think people see it and it's less expensive oftentimes than a roomette. When you're looking at the prices, so you're like, a family bedroom, that sounds like huge. It literally is just a room of beds. You're not getting like the amenities of a regular bedroom, and there are some pluses to it, but one of the big minuses is that it's not only on the bottom, but it's in the back of the train car, literally right over the wheels. So it is very loud and very rumbly in that room.
Yeah, now when we were on it, I did just get the sense that I was in like 8th grade summer camp. Bunk beds like everywhere, just like you can't escape the beds. There's beds everywhere, and there's no bathroom. So now there are bathrooms just on the other end of the hallway from there, but it's just way too many beds, and you think it's going to be better than it is. The windows really, you do have them on both sides, but they're not that great. So I think we didn't love the family bedroom. The other downside to it is that when you're in the family bedroom, you do have two roomettes that kind of come right up against you, and because these are different room types, for some reason we have noticed that the walls between the family bedroom and the roomettes that are next to the family bedroom are extremely thin. Like you can be sitting in there and just have a conversation in a normal voice with the people in the roomette. Mm-hmm. So yes. Whatever they're doing, whatever they're saying, you will be a part of it.
Yeah, every single thing, even if they're whispering, you could hear them. It literally is like you're in the same room with them, because we were in one time because we booked a very last minute ticket and ended up with basically the last room in that car, in that train car, and we were in room number 14 right next to it, and we just kind of looked at each other. It was fine for a minute, and then a family came into the room and we could hear, it wasn't so much that they were loud, you just could hear every single thing that they were saying and doing. It was wild.
Yeah, it kind of got entertaining for a little while, because like there was a dad and like 3 teenage boys in there, and they had left one of the boys in the room, and the other ones went, and then they had some issue going on. They were like, well, they did this and they did this, and I was sitting there thinking, well, I know exactly who did what. I could just tell the dad.
We could sort the whole thing for you.
I could sort it for you and tell you exactly what's happened here, because I heard all the conversations. So, yeah, if you don't want to be a part of that, then that brings us to the next set of rooms to avoid, which is the roomettes on the lower level that are next to the family bedroom. And that's going to be roomettes number 13 and 14. So when you book your ticket, you will see the room number that you get on the train. If it's roomette 13 or 14, you may want to consider calling in and getting switched to a different one, because those, you're going to be intimate with whoever's in the family bedroom.
Yes, unless you know the people who are in the family bedroom, then yes, by all means, book those rooms. But if you don't know who's in those rooms, in that room, you probably don't want to be next to them.
So there's another reason why roomette number 13 and 14 are the worst, and that is because they are also on the lower level. So you're going to have a worse view from the lower level. So we generally try to book rooms that are on the upper level, which those are going to be your single-digit rooms, starting with number 1 and going up. So if
the last one being number 10.
Yeah.
It's the only double-digit one up there.
Yeah, so when you get your room assignment, if you haven't made this assignment, you can call in, and after the fact you can change it, but if you really want to get a specific room, call in to make your actual reservation. They'll tell you which one you're getting before you actually book it.
Yes, and now this is on a Superliner. So these are not for trains coming and going through New York. On those, it doesn't matter, it's all one level. So this is not gonna apply to that. And there are no family bedrooms on those anyways. So the room numbers will not matter. You're all on the same level on those Viewliners.
Yeah, the Viewliner, basically they're all the same. There's just minor differences in them. On the Viewliner, the biggest thing you want to watch out for is Viewliner 1 versus Viewliner 2. Viewliner 2s are much nicer than Viewliner 1, but you don't get to choose when you book your ticket, and you won't know what you have until you show up to the train and you get on, and you'll either see you're in a 1 or a 2. And that's just that. Now, we have had the fortune of a couple times we've booked onto a 1 and there was a problem and somebody really wanted to be near somebody else and they said, will you switch trains to this Viewliner 2? We're like, sure.
Don't have to ask us twice.
But you can't really ask for that.
No, because the thing is, even if you call 1-800-USA-RAIL and ask them, hey, can you make sure I'm in a Viewliner 2, they can't secure that for you, because what happens is they rotate the train car numbers. So just because you're in a Viewliner 2 and it has a specific train car number, which you'll see on your ticket, like car number, it will say whatever it is. And then what they do is every time they come and go, they switch that on the train cars to rotate them around. So that train car isn't always going to have that same number. So if you ride it one way and you're like, oh, I'm in the same one coming back, you may be in a different type of car.
So back to the Superliners, because that is really the only train where there's going to be problem cars on. There's another problem you could have, which is if you don't want to be going up and down the stairs at all, then you have a decision to make, because to get on and off the train, you can easily do that on a Superliner from the lower level. It's just kind of like walk right on. There is a little ramp if you need that. And there are 3 bathrooms on the lower level. On the upper level, there is 1 bathroom, but that is where all the food is going to be. So if you are extremely immobile and you just want to get on the train and stay in your room, eat all your meals in your room and be able to get off the train easier, you are definitely going to want to be in the lower level, but not rooms 13 and 14. So you want to get room 11 or 12 if that's the case. But if you have mobility, if you don't have any mobility issues and you want to have the best view possible and be closer to the dining, and you don't mind going downstairs for the bathroom or just waiting in line for the 1 bathroom upstairs, then you're going to want room at 1 through 10, which is the upper level, and all of those will be good. Although 1 is almost always the attendant.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. They're usually in number 1.
So there is another set of numbers you could get when you book, and this kind of threw us for a loop when we got this, because we bought some tickets in a roomette, and the number was not any of these numbers. So we thought, what is going on here?
We were like, why are we in number 16?
It was a much higher number, and the deal is you can get a number even like 20. That's not a normal car that you've been assigned to. So there is a car called a transition car, and it has higher numbers. They're pretty rare. I think we've only been in them twice, but you just want to be aware, if you've gotten this car, that it is a transition car. So the basement of this car is going to be completely different. And then also, your roomette will be pretty much the same, but the bathroom layouts will be completely different. And actually, the bathroom layout is for the better on the upper level. The bathroom and the shower are together, because there really isn't much for you downstairs. So the shower that is normally downstairs in the Superliner is going to be upstairs, but it's connected to the toilet room. So actually, and it's kind of like connected, but there's no door. So it's just kind of like, there's just like little mini half walls. So you're actually,
and the curtain.
Yeah, your toilet room is actually a lot bigger on this one, and it's way nicer. So I really don't mind getting the transition car. And actually, if I am in a regular room, first thing I do is go look and see if there is a transition car on the train, because if there is, you better believe that's a bathroom we're going to use when we're walking by it.
Yeah, and it's actually, like you mentioned earlier, the downstairs is essentially off limits, not officially, but mostly because that's where the staff do like their work, and actually a lot of the staff is sleeping in that area as well.
So if you see one of those high numbers, I don't know that it's not necessarily a reason to call in and change it, but if you want just the normal experience that you've seen online in the videos, and it's your first time and you just want to be in a normal car and just kind of know what that is like going forward, if you have a really high number, just know that that's an abnormal train car, and you will barely ever see those. You may never see it again. So keep that in mind as you're booking your tickets, because you just don't want to get to the train and have this big surprise and feel like this isn't what I thought I was going to get, and this isn't what I purchased.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you're planning your trip, it also depends on like, the room is important as a part of your trip, but if you're doing just like one big trip, just one train ride there and maybe flying back or something, yeah, definitely try it. You want to book the very best possible option, and so that's where this comes into play. You want to know, okay, I don't even know what room I'm getting. Is this good? Is this bad? And a lot of people do ask us that in the comments. I'm in room such and such on this train. Is that a good train? I see that in the comments all the time, and this kind of helps you to figure out, okay, where am I going to be on the train? Make sure I don't have one of these rooms that's not going to be that great.
So my favorite room of all the rooms is, if you're in a roomette, my favorite room is to get room 2, because it's the first room on the end of the hall, and you're almost always right across the hall from the attendant. They're in room 1. So the attendant is usually the quietest person on the train, because they know what they're doing. They're not going to make a big mess in the middle of the night and have a problem. They know what they're doing. They've got this down.
And they're just one nice, quiet, considerate person.
One nice, quiet, considerate person. That's right. They're going to get up. They're not going to make any noise. And if you need anything, you always know if they're there. You don't have to get out of your room and go, because they always have their door open for the most part and the curtain pulled. And if they're in there, you'll see their shoes right below the thing. And you can see that from your room. So you can just say, hey, could we get, this or this? And if you don't see their shoes, you know they're not there. And
they're out walking around working.
When they come back, you'll be the first one to know that they're back. So it is the most, it's the best room.
It's kind of like your roommates, but you're not.
Yeah, it's like having the best roommate. Because when you're in a roomette, you're kind of tied to the people around you. If they're really, really loud, you're going to hear them. And if you're down in the middle, you're going to hear more people, because you're going to have people on all 4 sides of you. So if I had to pick a room in a roomette on a Superliner, it would definitely be room 2.
Yeah, definitely, because it is the quietest. It's the furthest away. Generally, it's away from the bathroom, not like right next to it. Sharing a wall, which sometimes is the case, and usually that's how come they take number 1, because usually they're sharing a wall with the bathroom.
Yeah.
And so being across from it, then you won't have to hear it like on the other side of the wall. So that's really quite good too.
That is the other good thing about too, is that you can tell when someone's in the bathroom just by kind of looking or
look out at the light,
seeing the foot traffic that's coming. If you have your curtain closed, you can see when people walk by, and you pretty much can figure out where they're going. So if you're all the way down in 10. You might think, I wonder if anyone's in the bathroom. You got to go out, walk all the way down, get down there. Well, it's full. Then you go downstairs, which is fine. But if you're not the kind of person that wants to go downstairs very often, or you have mobility issues, then number 2 is also the best for that.
Yeah, so guys, hopefully this is helpful for you as you're planning out your trip and trying to figure out if you've got a good room or not. This kind of answers the question for all those people leaving the comments on our YouTube video. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give us a like, and we'll see you soon.